absolutely right, Stuart. The most recent visitor here, Boris Johnson, trying to encourage the Ukrainians to believe that the weapons they've been asking for are going to come. But this is the first, as you say, the first visit by a Western leader to Moscow since the start of this conflict. Karl Nehammer, the Austrian Chancellor, going there on a mission to try to persuade Vladimir Putin that this war can have no winners, only losers. But he said himself when he came away from Moscow that he was pessimistic, that he didn't feel he had managed to convince Vladimir Putin, but that it was worth going 100 times if he could just by stage try and bring this war closer to an end. He said those talks have been very tough, very direct, extremely hard, but no real progress. Vladimir Putin seems to be set in his mission to try and conquer at the very least the eastern part of Ukraine, if not the whole of the country. He told Putin that the European Union remained entirely united on opposing Vladimir Putin and Russia, that it was committed to sanctions, that the sanctions would only get tougher. And he felt, he got his message across. But will it be enough at this stage to stop the war? Almost certainly not. But as Nehammer said, if there's just a slight hope, then it's worth pursuing the diplomatic effort.
Rob, what is the latest that we're hearing about the situation in the east? Because there does appear to be some conflicting information, particularly in the besieged city of Mariupol.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of clarity on what's happening in the Donbass in general, with the massing of forces by the Russians and the Ukrainians getting ready. But as you say, Mariupol is coming back into focus at the moment because the situation in the city appears to be pretty desperate. There was a report that came out on Monday on Facebook that appeared to be coming from the commander of the 36th Marine Brigade of the Ukrainian army, which is one of the main units fighting in Mariupol at the moment, which suggested that they were really on their last legs, that ammunition was running out, that half the brigade was wounded, that they were down to using members of the orchestra, the cooks and their drivers to continue the fight against the Russians. But that's been contradicted since by the deputy mayor of Mariupol and by the commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian forces, who says he's in regular contact with those fighting inside the city and that defense continues. It's certainly the case that the Russians are pressing harder, that they're squeezing the Ukrainian forces into a tighter circle all the time, but that the forces are determined to fight on to the bitter end and to inflict as heavy losses upon the Russians as they possibly can.